So hi everyone.
Hello, am I audible?
You're audible.
Okay. Uh, if you believe in yourself and have the dedication and pride and never quit, you will be a winner. The price of victory is high, but so are the rewards. These are the famous words by Bryant. Greetings to everyone. On behalf of the IEEE Link team, I formally welcome you all to the IEEE Student Awards Awareness Session. Student branches are crucial to the growth and development of IEEE student members. Student branches create a local network of students and allow them to meet and learn from fellow students as well as faculty members and professionals in the field. However, these activities and advantages aren't done without the effort, labor, and diligence of the volunteers. IEEE has created several student branch awards to recognize and award the efforts of these tireless individuals and teams. The IEEE Student Website Contest Award is aimed to recognize those student websites that provide information about the activities, latest tech updates, learning opportunities, IEEE benefits, etc. through creative digital efforts aimed to make it easy for students of their student branch to obtain this information. The session begins, it is with great pleasure I welcome Mr. Shankar J., Chair of Student Activities Committee, IEEE Kerala Section. I also welcome our speakers, who are the representatives of the IEEE Student Branch Nordcap University team, the winners of the IEEE Student Branch Website Contest 2020. So today we have with us Mr. Yatharth Piplani, Webmaster of IEEE Student Branch Nordcap University, and Ms. Priyanshi Katuria, Vice Chair IEEE Student Branch Nordcap University to share the experiences with us. I now invite
Thank you for
Yatharth
having
Piplani
us.
to share your experience.
thank you for having us here. And me and Priyanshu would be keeping it a very conversational format kind of thing. So before beginning, I would love to have a permission to share my screen. I'll just give me a minute, please. Okay, is the screen visible? All right.
Also, before we kind of begin, Namaste, hello, and Vanakkam, Kerala section. Really happy to be here, and thank you, Sri Vidya, for such a beautiful introduction. The screen disappeared, Yatharth.
Just give me a minute, please. I have to figure out this WebEx thing. Just give. Okay, cool. We have the screen in here, I guess. One second. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So and before starting this, I'd like to take you through a story of 2020 that happened. So it was like the mid-March of 2020. That's when the pandemic paralyzed the whole world. The whole world was trying to recover from this major loss. So, guys, I would love to ask everyone: did anyone hear that grasshopper and the ant story? So it was back in the summer days of March that the ants of IEEE NCU were working on a website, and it was kind of like an anthill for us because we had to like make each part perfect, and it had to be a very stable structure. So with us today, we are having our queen bee, Miss Priyanshi Kathuri, in the room. So, I mean, there were numerous activities that were conducted throughout the year, and we were actually very proud of that. But there is something that we didn't see coming at all, and that were like IEEE Students Awards. I mean, there was an aspiration, like you can say a lifetime dream, to apply to these awards. But we were like, can we do it? There was a doubt inside us. But then for this time, we went ahead. I mean, we had like barely 20 days to before the deadline. And we were like, we have to file so many applications. There was Darrell Chong Award application. There was Best Student Match Award application, where we had to like get all of the resources down there. And then we had the best website competition. And by the way, let me tell you that we didn't have a website prepared till then. And we were like, how are we going to pull this off? So basically, because here's this thing that you need to realize our landscape that the first website of any society in the North Cap University was the IEEE one. So we had to, before doing that, there would be thousand number of doubts. I mean, that's like pretty obvious. So we didn't really have the experienced developers right there. I was there experienced with some initiatives, basic full stack knowledge that I already had, but like as such network, none of them. So this was like a shot in the dark. But today, like me and Priyanshi would be taking you through that journey so that you can feel with us and you can imbibe some of the points with us. So Priyanshi, would you like to continue?
Yes. So, as Yatharth mentioned that in our college, we were the first society to actually have, to actually who wanted to have a website. So, before I get into the technical issues that we had, the major issue was that we had 10 days. And within those 10 days, I had to actually get approvals from like authority to approve a society to have its own website. Thankfully, it did got approved. But the major challenge that I think we faced was that as a project manager for this particular project, I was taking care of four massive teams all at the same time. You know, there were content teams. In that content team, I had about 10 people writing content. I had to deal with graphics team. You know how massive graphics are. I mean, so many ifs and buts, so many details. I had Django developers, who were like, doing the HTML, XT files, and then I had finally the Azure developers, the cloud, architects who had to sit down and deploy. So there were so many things, that were kind of happening all at the same time, and we will be getting into like the minute details of it. But before that, we will take you through our award-winning website. And for that, I would request Yatha to kind of show you guys the XD file. At the current moment, we have taken down our hostings because we are making some changes to the website. Some new cool features are being added, and we will kind of keep that under wraps because we are hoping to tentatively relaunch the website on the 25th. And when that happens, I think you guys will see what's new that we are adding to the website. So work is in, full, uh, full spirit. So Yatharth, please take us through the XD files and let's talk about the tech challenges and all the technical tools and or websites that we kind of used and refer to.
Before I would like to ask, can you make my other account as co-host, maybe like the Pipa one?
Yeah, there's an
Hello.
account by the name of IEEE. Basically, if you can hear us.
If you can hear us, organizers, can you actually change, because there are some things with WebEx of now, and we are requesting help they resolve it.
Guys, we are looking into it.
Can you make the other account, Pipa, as a co-host?
Guys, we are looking into it.
No, I mean, please look into it as of now, because there is a sharing and the presenter incompatibility going on here.
Okay.
I mean, sorry to waste your time. So basically, here is the work file that we actually. So let me walk you again through a story of yet another set of challenges, and that are like, first of all, we had to come up. First of all, like before starting any project, we had literally no idea. So before even beginning anything, we were looking at the different websites to seek some inspiration. Like, what kind of elements do we want to use?
Yatharth, you're not audible.
Okay, I'm audible as of now.
Yeah, now.
Cool. So I was okay. So before beginning anything, we were actually like going through different websites and looking for features. So what we did is, like, as collectively as a website team, we sat down, we ran the idea board, and we actually jotted down all the points that could come up regarding the features we want to have and how should the website look. And we shortlisted different websites and kind of like included elements from each of them. I mean, that's like a creative process that I'm guiding you through. So, but what I'm showing you right now is very important here. That is the prototype we created in Adobe XD. I mean, Adobe XD is a prototyping tool where you kind of like create the whole design and the content kind of thing, because I mean, once finalized, we can actually lay a very solid foundation, and then we don't have to like waste a lot of time, because we were already short on time. We had like only 15 days, and if we would continuously do big changes, I mean, a lot of time would have been lost to make a very significant amount of improvement. So this was like a productivity step, you can say. So that's the thing that is going on. And after that, we actually, you can see like there are horizontal structures, and you can, one second, let me just change up the tool. And there you can see there are significant elements. So this was the work of combined CSS
Maybe
grid
you
and
could
CSS
zoom in
flexbox
a
going on there.
little, Yatharth,
Ah, yes,
so
I'll just zoom in. I'll just zoom in. Cool.
people can see more clearly.
I mean, yes. I hope like that's looking pretty nice. Like this was our
Yeah.
homepage, and behind all of this, I mean, there was a lot of work that went into creating the content. We sat with the editorial team and kind of like we divided the whole content based on the chapters we have. We have like WI, we have like IES chapter in here, PES chapter, RAS chapter, and the IEEE Computer Society chapter in here. So all of those activities had to be culminated into one form. So that was like one thing we went through. So after all of this like front end work and the Adobe XD work, we went with the Django backend to code the Django backend part of it. And then Priyanshi, would you please guide us through the hosting? How did we host it?
Yes. So after the the laying down of the graphics, all the HTML, XD files, after all of that was done, see, you have your website done, but how will people access it? How will the traffic reach it? That's the major point, right? So we had to use cloud hosting for that, and we have three famous cloud hosting services. It can be Google or like GCP, AWS, and Azure. So we had to kind of sit down and look through the different services that they're offering. And when I was sitting down for this, we kind of took into contrast or like into consideration three major points. One was like the latency, like how fast is the response of my website when you try to invoke it, right? And that actually was one of the criteria in the application. How fast does your website open? Our website took like 9 seconds to actually open, which is, I'd say, average. I mean, it could be better. I mean, it's like if it's like if your website is opening in like 5 to 6 seconds, I think that's brilliant. But again, the faster you want to open your website, the more cost it takes, because everything is charged per by the hour on such platforms. So the again next point coming is that we took into amount costing, because we had a particular budget set for us. We did not have so much money to kind of because yes, we had certain amount of fund, and I had to sit down how much money can we kind of levy off on that. And the last thing was security. Again, security is so massive with cloud. There's so much that kind of goes into it. So after looking into all of these, and after that, we also before that actually we also did this thing called a performance test. So we, in the starting, as Yatharth mentioned, that we kind of refer to a lot of these beautiful websites of the SBs that are already existing in the world, like literally in the world, not just in India. So we kind of did a performance test. We used this platform called webtest.org. I mean, you guys can also use it if you want to. And then we kind of compared it with our website. So after looking into all these ifs and bits, we finalized on Azure because it was pocket friendly. We were able to understand the concept of it. So this is, I think, what was the entire walkthrough for like the technical part. But let's just understand here that, see, I'll give you like a small example. You can be a Django developer and you can give me your files ready in 3 days. But what's the point when I'm not able to reach the deadlines and when the content isn't there, the graphics isn't there? So it's what I'm trying to kind of indicate here is the management of your project. So now I'll talk to you about how we transitioned in terms of project development per se. So in the very start, as Yatharth has of already kind of mentioned, we went through sample websites. So we went through different websites in India, outside India. So we knew, okay, this is what we want. This is the kind of vague outlier we want. Then we started to have brainstorming sessions. Again, we did not have a lot of time. I was running literally a deadline of like 10 to, I mean, he mentions 15 days, but trust me, the first 5 days literally just went away in approvals. So I do not consider those 5 days in the start. So I'd say I delivered this project in like 10 days. So in those 10 days, I had to sit down with my team, graphics team separately. Okay, this is the, this is the template we want. So first we were going with templates that were, already available in the net. But again, these people did not want that. They wanted to do something separate, something more eye candy. So we had to work from scratch, make a new template altogether. And for all these brainstorming sessions to put down my ideas. As a project manager, I love this technology called SDLC. It's like software development life cycle. I hope someone here, I mean, you guys know about it. and it's very imperative that you follow a particular approach to kind of deliver your project on time. So I was using the agile approach where we were using these idea boards, and for that we use this platform called Trello. Even in our SB for everyday work as the vice chair, I have 10 different chapters and SIGs to kind of look into. So we use this thing called Trello where, we had all our ideas pitched down. I had to divide my 10 days into, okay, 3 days I have to get my HTML files and HT files done. I have next 3 days I need to sit down with the graphics team. Then I have to sit down, with the chapters and SIGs to get the content sorted, the pictures, like as you saw in the XP files of the website, we sat down and had pictures of each and every reader from each and every chapter and SIG on the website, because every reader requires acknowledgement, so there was so many minute things that kind of went into it. So there was a lot of deadline work that had to be done, and a lot of hustle in those 10 days. And I'll put special emphasis for those who are now planning to kind of apply for this award again this year. Focus majorly on your content, because I'll tell you why. Today, you know who Priyanshi is, maybe tomorrow you'll forget. But what will continue forever is the name of IEEE, the North Cap University student branch. How will you know what we do? The only way you actually get introduced with my student branch is through my website. And that website needs to be a piece of art, inclusive of the graphics. But what actually shines is the content that you write, each and every word. It should be able to kind of give away the essence of what what your student branch thinks. So I was very specific. We had to sit down with the content team, and in all this while, when the technical part was happening, I think one thing that never stopped was definitely content. I had to go over each and every SIGs and chapters content, because each and every one have their own tabs. They have their own HTML files. You can click on the icon of the, say, IEEE IAS, and then you'll be redirected to a page where IAS talks about everything it's done in all these years. What is the next upcoming event they have? So there is each and every page is loaded with content. I had to sit down using flag check tools, going through grammatical things, this and that. So and I think in the very first page, we mentioned the vision and the kind of the aim that IEEE at the North Carolina University bears. So that is what the intent was from the very start, to get things correct, to acknowledge the leaders who have worked hard so far. So like this is how we went from the planning stage to the implementation stage, and we had to go into deploying and then finally run the website. And then after running also, there's this huge major thing called maintenance. I mean, I don't want to get into the maintenance part. It's massive and huge, because people who actually get into, who know like how technical back end, just getting done with the application is like not the end of the world. You have to maintain that website. So there's so many technical glitches and everything that come into it. So I think that's what the challenges so far that we kind of incurred from our end. But with that, I think what is more important is that what we learned in these 10 days. And there's this term that was rather a phrase that IEEE SD students use very often, and it's called self-efficacy. What we mean is that we're self-sufficient. So I'm not sure if Yatharth quite beautifully emphasized on the fact that my Django developers did not know Django at all. I had 3 days. I mean, they knew Python, C, Java, but they did not know the language Django. It's not a very famous language that is probably taught in college or something. We use the top-notch languages that are used every day. So Django was something that had to be taken up from scratch. Adobe XD that these guys used, that was something that had to be taken up from scratch. I'm not even kidding. They did not even know the A of Adobe here. So self-efficacy.
Priyanshi,
Yes.
do you remember actually like when we were planning the course for all the developers, like we were having consecutive meetings on the board, and then on the last day, I remember when we spoke of the maintenance part, you actually made me like stay up till 12 a.m.
I did. I did.
Like she was
Uh,
literally over my head and saying like, Yatharth, I need these changes right now. I
see,
mean, that was the kind of workflow back then.
the thing with someone who's taking up the role of a project manager is that you might think her work is just to take updates. Trust me, when I take an update, I have teachers to kind of take a talk to, and I have to put all teams in sync. If one goes out of the fashion, everything falls apart. So I will be specifying on like the requirement for project management, like techno management for sure. But again, coming back to the adopt part, that we did not know anything. I actually had to sit down and organize a kind of a webinar on GitHub in proper minute details, and there was like a complete different conversation we had on cloud hosting, because these are technologies that are actually, see, learning something in your books and knowing the theory of what cloud is, it's an on-demand pay-as-you-go service, great. But when you have to actually sit down and host a website for good 12 months, that's a completely different challenge altogether. So I think what the most beautiful experience that I took out from here is that everything is possible. You can get literally anything done if you work hard, research hard, and if you kind of have the correct resources. With that, I will transition into emphasizing the fact that the, that techno management is something which is very important. You can have your Django developer go on and write files for good 3 days and get it to me. But there is no point of it if the other teams, the content and the graphics team is not in sync with it, right? So effective bringing the expertise in the technical sector along with effective management together. It's a work of art, and I think to bring it together in such a manner that my website or my product is not just customer friendly, but is also something that is understandable for the developers who will work on it later. I'll tell you why. Because this website is about some 10 months old, and on this, students who were in the fourth year, like last year, now pass outs worked out, alumni, IEEE alumni worked on this website. Those people are no longer here now. The next batch is taking over it. So it's very important that what the code you write is understandable for people who are going to work on it later, because you need to understand, because if your code is not understandable for the coder who's next to come, all that effort that you do goes down the drain. You have to start from scratch again. So it's very important to have clarity in all sections. So that was something I think we kind of had to focus majorly on. Of course, the website had to be beautiful. Yathat, could you go to the slide of that fun of the back end and the front end thing that we
Yes,
developed?
exactly. Let me
I
go
mean,
through
this
the
is
back.
exactly how the website looked for us. I mean, it looks beautiful to you, but on the back end, there was so much. I think now we can move into transition to what are the future developments. I think that
Yes.
you something.
Okay. Okay. I would love to speak about future developments, but I mean, you have heard of the challenges and all of the story that it was only like 10 to 20 days we had to pull off this, along with other applications, because Priyanshi and Virendra actually worked on all of the applications in the same time. So basically, I was a guy who had really long hair, back like it was like 2 feet tall, and then I literally went bald, and I had to get a hair transplant to get my hair back like this. And then um, uh, after that, I mean, a lot of things happened, and then we won and it was announced that we won the award. And I was like, wow, it's fabric lasting. But then that was not enough, obviously, because then I mean, it was my duty to pay the homage to this organization, the IEEE. So that's how we kind of celebrated how we won with all of the posters that you might have seen on the social media handles.
I
So that
cannot believe that all of Kerala section knows how dedicated, honestly, how dedicated Yatharth is. He's been here for 3 years. But this is what the making, the journey kind of look like. And future developments are yet to be done, Yatharth. We will be talking about that.
Yes, definitely. Now I've spoken some of the behind the scenes, so let me enunciate on those future developments. So after the website, I mean, we are again putting some new features into the website, integrating with the different APIs. So, but the next big project we are working on is the IEEE Insisted Notch app. I mean, we already have a website. There is no literal incentive for someone to use the app. Let me get straight out of that head. Because I mean, why would someone install the app and not browse the website? Because I mean, you guys know that IEEE membership costs around like 2,000 rupees, or say like $27 to be exact, if bearing all the MGM discounts. Because I mean, MGM is something I'm really fan of, but we are not talking about that here. So IEEE membership costs around like 2,000, but we want now. There is a very inner motivation after working like 3 years in this SB. It's like we want to give the max to max ROI to the people, like all of the
Return on investment.
return on investment, exactly. So this, what does this app do is like to keep track of the, I mean, there is a big community service that is going in our student branch, that we do like 70 hours community service each semester. So that is something that app will keep track of, and all of the events that our student branch volunteers are registering for, their certificates are to be provided, and all of those will be authorized by the branch counselor. So that is something established. And then, I mean, there's a form for college only, that is general proficiency. So we saw that problem that people have to fill all of that manually. But what if like people are registered for the activity and that goes straight into the form, and that form is pre-made at the end of your semester? I mean, it's just generated in clicks. So all of these automation, this automation, the need to automate it arises from because there are problems. Now, now I come to the technical part of it, that these are the problems that we identified. But now the actionable steps we have taken. First of all, we have conducted those ideation sessions. Again, I mean, inspired from our last move, I'd say. And then we kind of imbibe the culture of learning systems design. I mean, that is something I read that it would be beneficial in our interview. So we are currently reading company blogs that have the spectacular features in the app, and what kind of technologies are they using. I mean, that is something I have realized that it's really crucial. So af- this is the aftermath and I'd say the future plans that we are currently having, and these are all the tools and technologies that we are using. I mean, we were extremely cautious about the plagiarism, because I think the rule states that 50% of it goes to the content. I mean, your content game must be strong because it is the 50% of the weightage, and then it should be flag free. So that is something we were rigorously doing stuff on. Then web page testing, it was. Then Adobe XD we have talked about in Lens, and then Heroku was something that we tried, but it wasn't giving the. I mean, it was giving the. I mean, the higher latency, and the security score was not so good. So, but then we actually went for a custom, say, Azure security stuff, and we would study the PDF after this session for that. And then trailer for productivity, as Priyanshi said, I mean, it was our brainchild. And then we took up some sessions on GitHub. Any concluding words, Priyanshi?
Um, Including words, I think this project has been the maximum. It was very exhausting for me, honestly, but it was like this one baby which I think I'm gonna give to my SD before I actually leave. I'm a pre-final year student now. I'm gonna get into fourth year, eventually gonna leave college very soon. So this is something that we built from scratch, and I'm extremely proud of it. And it actually got recognized at such a level, which we were not hoping. What we wanted just for ourselves, for our sake, is that we need to have our own, website. That was the only aim, but it kind of got such a national recognition, which is something that came quite as a surprise, and also we're overwhelmed for that. So I think that's that about the website contest. It's just that focus on what you want, focus on the essence of your SB, because that is it. Your website should be a piece of art. I mean, if I look at it, I should be like, wow, this is it. It should be like that, and always make changes, bring in new, experiment with fonts, bring in new APIs, bring in better things like we're trying to do now. So the day you stop, it's like the is your doom is all I know. So I think that is all I have from my end as a project manager for this particular project. Anything that you would like to add, Yafat, and then we can maybe transition to Q&A.
I mean, before that, I would love to ask everyone if you all need a revision session of this or not. Just a like 5 minute quick revision.
Sure, we could have a
Cool.
quick revision.
Okay, we can have a quick revision. So first of all, it was like uh, this. First of all, it was like finding the inspiration, and then second, it was like creating a prototype on Adobe XD, and it was like one of the most vital step. And then third, it was like coding with all of the tools that you are going to require: CSS, Flexbox, and CSS Grid, and then deploying using Django, hosting on Azure, and we tried others as well, based on the web page test website that we showed. So all in all, this was a quick revision of the website part, and then we came to the app.
I think that's all from our end. Whatever we had, we have shared. So you can shoot your questions now.
Thank you for your guidance. Guys, participants, if you have any questions or queries, this is the time to ask them.
Uh, can you give some suggestions to incorporate which kind of features makes your website stand out? Okay, yes. What makes you see when you open a website, what are the two things that you kind of look into it? How mobile friendly is it? I mean, most of the people actually access the website on your phone. So first, it needs to be mobile friendly, otherwise, it kind of won't serve the purpose. But maybe looking to the graphics that you're adding, incorporate. It shouldn't be full of content per se. Maybe add more, visuals to it. Uh, Make sure that you're using a good SEO strategy, that's like search engine optimization, that you meet the specific keywords that kind of need to be met when because for us what we do is that we incorporate the various events that have taken place. So say for example I had an event on vocabulary, so vocabulary development. So a link is provided, a small short description of what that event was added. So if someone Googles, okay, what is vocabulary enhancement or something like that, so you should kind of take it to your website, that okay, from there to that particular page, and that particular that is how smart it's just how smartly you kind of you know arrange things in your website. I think so that is what makes it stand out. If you could add maybe a Q&A bot to it, something like that, I mean, cool features that could enhance on the website. And I think Yatharth would be a better person to answer this. Django or Modern Stack, which was the one which you preferred for faster development,
Uh,
technical absolutely.
yes, I mean, Django is something that we went for, and it has already the functions that we actually needed. So I mean, it is not like, I mean, you can go for the merge stack or Django. That is like a very subjective choice. But I'd say like if you have all of the functions that Django is already providing, just go for it. I mean, it has already like been under the layers of abstraction, and it can be like one of the fastest out there. I mean, I spoke it about like in one of my podcasts also. And secondly, there's a very good question that any efficient ideas to focus on design, that is animation and other aesthetics. I mean, it is mostly attributed to the problem solving. If you are kind of like creating one design, and like you are seeing all of the good designs out there, you can analyze like what is good in them. And one of the things that I have seen is typography. I mean, I was not inherently a designer, but then kind of like having like why someone is using black. I mean, black in some fonts. I mean, you don't use pure black but you kind of use that shade of black, which actually looks good. So, I mean, thinking about that and doing that every day kind of like builds a muscle inside your brain. And that is like a school of thought that I am particularly advocate of. That,
Also to
I mean,
kind of,
say it for content, because throughout my journey in SB, I've like done video editing, I've done my content game, and I've done a pretty good part of designing. So all of these skills, I've noticed a pattern that you got to like see why stuff is working, and you got to question yourself because it's a muscle you are kind of like training. That is like my stance on it. Any
just
more
to
questions,
add
Priyanshi?
a little, no, I would like to just add a little to the aesthetics part and the design part. I think focus, stick to one template or one theme, I'd say, not a template, but stick to a theme. Very important. Don't like deviate from it altogether. Make sure that it looks intact altogether. You know, it shouldn't like some pages so and so colors, and then you're, you know, kind of moving away from the color palette altogether. So kind of try and finalize in one theme and stick with it and just play with its tones. I think that is what because it just looks more eye candy when you look at something that's, you know, monochrome, something that's it's in similar shades and something like that.
Yes, and I mean that's a fabulous tip, Priyanshi. But there is one secret thing that we are gonna use, and that is like have a group of people. I mean, we have a group of designers who actually give constant feedback to each other, and in the process, I mean, I mean, you can call it steroids of graphic designing, literally, because you are building that muscle so fast with that feedback, which I don't think that you would have maybe thought, because different people have different perspectives. So that is one hack I'd say. Like form a group of designers out there. You would establish a culture. You would make fabulous designs in coming time.
Exactly.
I've literally
Create a
seen like three
community.
designers who have like earned, who are even earning right now through their design skill. So that's the thing.
Someone's asked how much backend was involved in your website for what all. I think we've been talking about the backend only for all this while. I think maybe you've joined late. We've covered all the different technologies like cloud, the hosting, and like for deployment and Adobe and Django and all of that. So maybe you could catch up on that. I don't really want to go over a third review or a third revision for that. Will the code be evaluated? No. Yatharth, I don't think the code was evaluated, was it?
No, the code isn't evaluated, but
No, it's not.
you are not allowed to make a structural changes for the next 9 months after the website is launched.
Yeah,
That's one
that's,
thing.
yeah,
And
it just remains.
I mean, there is no literal incentive to actually evaluate the code, because they can see the response time, okay, and then they can always see that. I mean, they can see the content, they can see the response time. There are other factors to be taken care of, and then there is always that structural changes thing. So all of these controlled automatically.
We have just one more question. Maybe I thought you could take that up also. Did we build our own database or did we use Google Forms?
I mean, that's not the practice. I mean, you can use Firebase instead. Like, why would you go through that unless like you're making a kind of like script, and which is like kind of a stunt in here, I'd say. And there is someone saying nice background. Yatharth, thank you.
I guess that's all from our end. And I think you answered all questions that we possibly could. What are you looking forward for the second version of the website? We would not want to speak about it at the current moment. We are
At the
working
current
on
moment, no.
some. Yeah, at the current moment, no. As I mentioned, we are going to launch the website tentatively on the 25th. So maybe after that you can reach out to the website. You can Google it at www.ieeencindia.edu, and then you can see all the new things that we kind of want. Yes, you cannot make changes for 9 months, any structural changes or indexed changes in your website after you submit it for evaluation.
So I think like that's all with the questions. And I would thank Kerala Section for hosting us. It was like hosting at its best. Okay, can you tell us the evaluation metric for the website? We have been talking about that, like the role of content, the role of design is 25%, role of content is 50%, and then the speed of the website is 5%. I mean that's roughly around. No, we didn't have like spectacular results with Digital Ocean. I mean that's our personal experience, but yours could be different as of now, and we didn't go with really great plans. Oh,
What
reward,
is
please
the
tell the answer.
what is the reward you get for winning? I think there was global recognition, and I think I don't remember if we got
There was a
any
cash prize definitely, like
there was a
$250.
cash
It was a
prize.
cash prize,
Yeah,
and
yeah, I
then
forgot.
there
I
is one
forgot
more
that.
surprising thing with this. I mean, I mean,
You
after
get to
that
compete in the
prize,
global level.
exactly, you get to
Yeah,
compete in the global level, and
global
then
level.
people actually wanted our students to make websites for them, like on a
Yeah.
commercial basis. I mean, people were so interested with that kind of brand. That is the personal experience that I have observed right there.
I mean, what we actually saw that after we entered the global competition was that the traffic to our website gradually increased. I mean, otherwise we were having less people actually Googling us, but after that, there were people who wanted to know about how it works. So that's how.
Uh,
You're
I
welcome,
think
Audit.
there was one more unanswered question over there. There was one question like any efficient ideas to focus on the designs, that is the animation and other aesthetics. So to that,
We
I've
took
talked
that
about that.
up. We took that
that
up.
was okay. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, yeah. That all questions I think have been answered.
If there are any more queries, feel free to unmute or put them in the chat box.
I think with this, I really wish all the SDs all the best who are kind of looking forward to apply. And hope you guys win. And I hope we guys win too. I mean, could have been a lot, any more diplomatic. But all the best. Thank you for coming out and listening to us. And I hope this experience kind of helped you in any way possible. So we'll really be happy to be here. And thank you, Kennel Section, for this wonderful opportunity.
Yes, and one of them said that is winning at different levels. I mean, yes, winning is always at different level, but
Yes.
everyone among us is winner if you try, if you are willing to try. So at the end of the session, I would like to say, don't forget, you are awesome. A daily reminder for you. Until we meet next time.
Until we meet next time. Thank you guys. That's all from our end.
Okay. Thank you so much for spending your esteemed time and sharing your experiences. So, as a token of gratitude, we would like to present you some mementos.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Nicely done. Thank you. That's sweet, actually.
Thank you, Kiru section. Thank you. This is really experience I would not kind of forget. Thank you.
Once again, I thank you both for this wonderful session. It was truly invaluable. I would take this time to inform you all that we would love to have a small photo session with all the participants. So I request you all to please turn on your video.
Basil, are you taking a screenshot? Or Thomas?
Yes, we are taking the screenshots. Thank you all.
So I would like to thank Shankar sir for sparing his valuable time to be here and providing an opportunity to conduct this wonderful session. I would also like to thank each and every one of you for your continued support and participation throughout the session. With that, we have come to the end of this session. Thank you all.